day viewers, it's your girl Gonzashet Matize here to present about the Turkey-Africa relations. The Turkey-Africa relations originated back in the 16th century, with Turkey being formerly called the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire used to engage in relations, in both political and economic relations with the Northern Africa. They used to trade slaves and also trade minerals. Fast forward in the relationship, we go to the events that took place after the Cold War II. After the World War II, the Turkey-Africa relations started again, with Turkey taking a foreign policy for it to measure with Africa. They took the relationship up to now. The relationship is mainly with Turkey being a northern country and Africa a southern nation. Looking at this relationship, it's mainly a false paradigm relationship, whereby Turkey is the one which is mainly benefiting as compared to Africa. After this, we'll take a short break and my other colleagues will present more.
Good day, viewers. I'm going to take you on a short trip on international relations. Firstly, I wanted to study international relations because I wanted to understand how the world works, since it consists of various factors. To move on, I'm going to take you through a very short presentation of the political economy of the Turkey and Africa relations. Turkey-Africa relations have evolved significantly over two past decades, marked by a growing interest from Turkey in expanding its influence and partnerships across the African continent. This relationship is shaped by various political, economic, cultural factors. Here's an overview of the political ecology of Turkey-Africa relations. I hope you are following through, guys. There's the historical context, Ottoman legacy. Turkey's historical ties to Africa date back then to Ottoman Empire, which had significant influence in North Africa and part of East Africa. This historical connection has been leveraged in contemporary relations. There's also the post-colonial era. After the end of colonialism, many African nations sought to establish their own identities and international partnerships. Turkey's non-colonial approach has been appealing to many African countries. Initiatives say that Turkey has increased its diplomatic presence in Africa, opening numerous embassies and participating in African Union meetings. The Turkish government has emphasized a policy of mutual respect and cooperation. The Turkey and Africa Cooperation Summit, the first summit was held in 2008 in Istanbul, marking a formal commitment to enhancing the international relations. Subsequent summits have focused on various sectors, including trade, investments, and developments. Support for development. Turkey has positioned itself as a partner in these developments, providing humanitarian aid, educational opportunities, and technical assistance to African countries. To most African countries. When it comes to the economic relations, there's been a trade growth between African nations and Turkey. There's been substantial growth, with Turkey aiming to increase its trade volume with Africa to 50 billion by 2023. Key sectors include constructional and machinery. When it comes to investments, Turkish companies have invested in various sectors across, including construction, energy, and telecommunications. The Turkish government encourages private sector investments in Africa markets. Also on the economy, there has also been a promised partnership between the two. Turkey has sought to establish economic partnerships through trade agreements and cooperation in sectors like agriculture, mining, infrastructure development. In addition to that, there has also been a move in the cultural and educational ties. On the cultural diplomacy, Turkey promotes cultural ties through initiatives such as the Yunus Emre Institute, which focuses on cultural exchange and the teaching of the Turkish language. On educational ties, there are programs that have also been introduced, such as scholarship for African students to study in Turkey have increased, fostering people-to-people connections and enhances Turkey soft power on the continent. On geographical consideration,
my name is Costa Benvo, and I'll be presenting on the advantages and disadvantages of Turkey-Africa relations. Turkey has become a major investor in African economies with investment in infrastructure, construction, manufacturing, and energy sectors. Turkish firms are particularly active in building airport roads, housing projects across the continent. For example, Turkish construction companies have completed large-scale projects in Ethiopia and Algeria. In Somalia, Turkey has invested heavily in infrastructure, including rebuilding Mogadishu's port and airport, which has spurred local economic activity and created jobs. Trade between Africa and Turkey has grown significantly from $5 billion United States dollars in 2003 to over $25 billion by 2020. Turkish exports to Africa include machinery, textiles, electronics, and construction materials, while Africa exports raw materials, agricultural products, and minerals to Turkey. Nigeria exports oil to Turkey, while Turkey exports finished products like textiles and machinery to Nigeria, creating mutually beneficial trade ties. Turkey has opened embassies in over 40 African countries and hosts high-level Turkey-Africa summits, promoting deeper diplomatic engagement. Turkey's involvement in African political matters such as mediation efforts in conflict zones enhances Africa's global diplomatic reach. Turkey's active diplomatic presence in conflict regions, Somalia, including humanitarian aid and military training, has helped Somalia to stabilize politically and diplomatically. Disadvantages of Africa's relations with Turkey. While trade has increased, many African countries have significantly trade imbalances with Turkey. Africa primarily exports raw materials while importing high-value finished goods from Turkey, creating a dependence on Turkish products. Kenya imports a large volume of Turkish goods like machinery and textiles, while exporting agricultural products like tea and coffee. This imbalance creates a trade deficit that is difficult to overcome due to the lack of value-added exports from Kenya. Turkish investments in sectors like manufacturing, construction, and energy often rely on Turkish technology and expertise, with limited transfer of skills and technology to local African industries. This limits the capacity of Africans to develop independently and grow local expertise. In Ethiopia, while Turkish companies have invested in industrial zones such as Awas industrial park. Much of the advanced technology is imported from Turkey with minimal local involvement in design and innovation. This creates long-term dependency on foreign expertise. While Turkey's infrastructure investment benefit African countries by improving transport, housing, and public services, the deals often favor Turkish companies at the expense of local firms. This limits the participation of African business and workers in large-scale construction projects. In Algeria, Turkish construction firms dominate major infrastructure projects such as housing and road development, often sidelining local Algerian companies and limiting opportunities for them to expand and compete. While Turkey promotes these cultural and religious ties with Africa through initiatives such as educational exchange and mosque building projects, this often reflects Turkish interests and values rather than fostering a reciprocal cultural dialogue. This statement may lead to African adopting Turkish cultural influence without equivalent African influence in Turkey. Turkey's Diyanet Foundation has built mosques and promoted Turkish religious education in countries like Gambia and Sudan, which may influence local religious and cultural practices, sometimes at the odds with local traditions. Africa's relations with Turkey bring both opportunities and challenges. On the positive side, Turkey's investment in infrastructure, education, humanitarian aid have tangible benefits for African countries, particularly in terms of economic growth, trade expansions, and capacity building. However, the relationship also faces significant challenges, including trade imbalances, limited technology transfer, and concerns about sovereignty and strategic control. For the partnership to become more equitable, Turkey and African nations must work towards ensuring that investment foster long-term development, empower local industry, and promote mutual respect in diplomacy and cultural exchange.